Welcome back to SS Physics class. This is Debanjan here, and today we'll be talking about some basic concepts and basic introduction to high school biology, and we'll be dealing especially with how is biology gonna be studied from here on and what are the various fields that we are gonna cover. And I'll give a very basic introduction as to how and what are we going to cover in specifically in class 11 as well as in class 12. So we will basically also deal with the introduction to the living world, right? So what is biology? What is biology? Biology is nothing but it is basically the study of life, the science that deals with the study of life. So science dealing with study of life. And what is life? Life is anything that is living, and we'll define the very basic characteristics as to the essential characteristics of any living beings. Essential characteristics. So, what are the essential characteristics that define a living being? So, we have any living being. If you guys think of any living being, we respond, right? So, we respond to external stimuli, we respond to environmental stimuli, we respond to heat, we respond to stress, we respond to any kind of stimulation, we respond to touch. So we have senses, and so the very basic capacity of any living being is the capacity to respond. Capacity to respond to stimuli and produce an action to that stimuli. Which is essentially called the consciousness. So all living beings has to be conscious. We are conscious of our surroundings. We respond to our surroundings. Right? What else? What else? So we obviously grow. Growth. But is growth exclusive to living beings? Growth is not exclusive to living beings. Growth is not exclusive to living beings. Non-living things grow. Like the mountains, the hills, anything, even a wooden door. Even a wooden door, it expands during the monsoon season, right? So non-living things grow. So we cannot take growth as an exclusive factor to define living beings. Reproduction. And reproduction be stated as an exclusive property of living beings, as an exclusive feature of living beings. Again, no, reproduction cannot be. And why? Reproduction cannot be an exclusive characteristic of all living beings, because there are living beings which fail to reproduce. Not all human beings are able to produce progenies, right? Some of them are infertile. We have a lot of organisms which are asexual in nature. They are asexual in nature, right? We have sterile worker bees. So reproduction again cannot be a salient feature to classify living beings. Till now we have only consciousness as the one. So again, growth can be again defined as increase in mass, right? Growth can be defined as increase in mass, can also be growth. Increase in size is also growth, right? And both non-living and living things, they can grow in size and grow in mass. So what other features do make living beings actually living, right? We have metabolism, and this is exclusive again. What is metabolism? Metabolism is sum total of all chemical reactions taking place inside a living being, right? Sum total of all chemical reactions taking place inside a living being is called metabolism. And this exclusively requires more or less a cellular environment to be carried out. Right? And metabolism is again of two types. One is anabolism, one is catabolism. This is formation of products. So any chemical reaction that produces a new product which is useful for the living being. So this is formation of products. And catabolism is breaking down of products into simpler forms. Breaking down of products into simpler forms and release of energy. And energy is consumed in this part. So, if you frame this, metabolism is equal to anabolism plus catabolism. Right? And all living beings have this property. So, we have consciousness and we have metabolism. Right? And what else? So, other than that, we also have cellular organization. Cellular organization. Where is the metabolism taking place? It's inside the cells. Right? It's inside the cells. So, cellular organization is again an exclusive property, exclusive feature of living beings. Right? Exclusive feature of living beings. So we have identified exclusive features of all living beings. So we have single cellular, unicellular organisms, we have multicellular organisms, right? There are unicellular organisms. So, and irrespective of whether multicellular or unicellular, we all have the capacity to respond to external stimuli. So we feel pressure, we feel heat, we feel all the good things and all the bad things. Any external stimuli, we feel that. And whether it is a unicellular organism or a multicellular organism, everyone feels it, right? So we have consciousness, we have cellular organization, and we respond to those particular external stimuli to produce certain results, which is metabolism, basically. We are feeling hungry, we take the food, and the food that we consume, it contains glucose, it contains carbohydrates, fats, and everything in the body is utilized through metabolism, and we get the energy, right? So that's there. And reproduction and growth are not exclusive profit features of living beings, right? So now all living beings have a scientific name. Why was this scientific naming important? The scientific naming was important because all living things, all living beings, they are called something. In Hindi we call mosquito a machhar, and in English we call it a mosquito. In some other place it's called moths, maybe. So it's like it's the name is varying now. If you as a person, if I am telling that I am Debanjan, I am universally known as Debanjan. I am not called Debanjan only in India, right? So we have scientific names for all organisms, and the concept of scientific names came up, or it was given by Carolus Linnaeus. It was given by Carolus Linnaeus, who came up with the concept of binomial nomenclature. Right? It was binomial nomenclature, which basically means two names. So humans are called Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens, where Homo is the name of the genus, it identifies genus, and sapiens is the species. So if someone asks what species do you belong to, we say sapiens, that is the species, and genus is Homo, right? So this type of naming, two name system, was given by Carolus Linnaeus. He is also called the father of taxonomy. Right? And he even came up with systematics. Systematics, that is the study of relationship between different species or organisms. So we know what is living, we know what is biology. Biology is defined as the science of living beings, and we have identified the salient features of all living beings, and we have gone on to say how living beings are named. It follows the Carolus Linnaeus systems of binomial nomenclature. So every time a new species is identified, a new organism is identified, I'll tell you the system as to how the taxonomy steps are there. So we identify a new species and we firstly identify the external characteristics, right? How does external characteristics as to how the organism looks, the morphology and the anatomy. The morphology plus anatomy, how it looks, other features, right? Other features as how it reproduces. Let's say how it reproduces. So we identify this, and after identifying, we name it based on, based on the species or the genus. We name it. We identify the genus it could belong to, and the species it could belong to, and we name it. And then we also group it inside a phylum or kingdom or something. So identification and naming are the two important steps of taxonomy, right? Identifying the organism and naming the organism. And we sometimes also mention the name of the identifier. Right? So that's the concept of binomial nomenclature, and after we do all of this, so we go from, so we have the species, then we have genus. So we have a specific hierarchy of taxonomy. So the species, then we have genus, and then we have family, right? Then we have order, class, species, genus, family, order, class. Then we have phylum. Then we have kingdom. And then we have domain. So this is the hierarchy of your species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain. And this is the hierarchy of taxonomy. This is taxonomical hierarchy. So species is anything. It's a group of organisms which has certain similar characteristics, right? And species, the concept of species was given by Ernest Mayr. Group of organisms with certain similar characteristics. 2 legs, 2 arms, 4 legs, eyes, something like that. So species, and most importantly, species, once organism of one species, they cannot reproduce with the organisms of other species. So reproductive limitation becomes the reproductive limitation or hindrance is the main criteria to define a species to the species. How will you do? This is one species, this is one species. How will you say that? So if you try to mate them, they will in all probability produce an infertile offspring. Organisms of 2 species, they can also, but then that is for a different reason. But 2 different species, organisms from 2 different species, they cannot ever produce an infertile, cannot ever produce a fertile offspring. They always produce an infertile offspring. So species has reproductive limitation. Then we have genus. So we have similar species coming under the genus. So we have organisms coming under species, similar species coming under genus, similar genus under one family, family to order, orders come class, phylum, kingdom, and domain. kingdom basically consists of the animal kingdom, so we have animal kingdom and plant kingdom. Right, and we'll learn about this in the next videos. The naming, by the way, the binomial nomenclature, the official recognition of any particular species, whether it's a plant, if it's a plant, the official naming is given by ICBN, International Code for Binomial Nomenclature. And for animals, we have ICZN, International Code for, this is botanical nomenclature, by the way, for botanical nomenclature, for zoological nomenclature, International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. So we have ICBN and ICZN. And so that's how the naming is done, the official recognition of the name. So we have this, so we know the hierarchical taxonomy. And so whenever we are writing any particular organism, name of the organism, scientific name of the organism, we'll always start the genus name with a capital letter, Homo, and the name of the species to be written in small, Homo sapiens, and we'll always underline it whenever we're writing it manually with the hands. Whenever we're typing it, we'll always use italics while typing. So there are certain rules again. So this is more or less a general introduction to the entire world of biology, and we have a lot of specializations. So we have physiology, we have anatomy, and the entire systems. We have biochemistry, right? We have genetics and all this cell biology and all these fields that we are going to cover throughout our study course. So that was just a very small and basic introduction about the living world. So we know how to classify the hierarchical taxonomy, what are the essential characteristics of all living beings, right? How the naming is done, right? What is taxonomy, how the naming is done, who is Carolus Linnaeus, and the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature, right? And what else do we have? Yeah, more or less, that's more or less it. Yeah, final kingdom. So that's more or less it for today. We will also introduce you to the entire classification system, the Whittaker classification system, in the next video. If you like this video, if you want more videos to come in, you can go down in the comment section and just put in your comments as to what topics do you feel that I must cover. I can go way from the basics till the higher up. Please like, share, subscribe and comment with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for exciting videos on biology as well as in physics and chemistry. I wish you all the best. Thank you, and please come back soon.